into the Phoenix Sports Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. You know who it is. It's your girl,
DJ Mackie,
Makayla Perkins, and the one and only Shawn DePaz.
Yo.
Back at it again. I feel like
it's been 3 weeks.
It's been so long since
it's been a minute. We've
done a show.
Ships in the night. You were gone last week. I was gone the week before. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I kind of miss you. It kills me to admit that, but
I wish I could say the same.
I'm kidding. So nice.
I'm kidding. You're so much better than Anthony Totri.
And I'm here too.
And they have Bubble Shane's here too. What's up to our fam in the chat? Hey Charles, hey Daniel, hey Elizabeth. I'm sure Chris will be here at some point. So good to see all of you guys.
Daniel, shout out for the cookies.
Yeah, I missed the cookies, and I'm actually really sad about that.
Still one or two left.
They're here?
I think there's still some in there.
You shouldn't have told me that. I'm just gonna get up and go grab a cookie. Shawn's got the show. Bye, guys. No, I'm just kidding. If you're here, drop a chat. Say what's up. We're super excited for the show. We actually have a crap ton to talk about.
Yeah,
which once. I'm so excited for because you're gonna get some hot takes coming your way.
And it's like all positive stuff, I would say.
For the most part.
Almost all positive stuff.
Yeah, for the most part. Jan's here. What's up, Jan? So excited to have you guys. Before we get into the hot takes, though, got to give a shout out to our friends at Four Peaks because in just a few short days, actually 1 week to be exact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6 days from now.
6 days from now, we are going to be at Four Peaks for the NFL Draft Watch Party. It's NFL Draft Day Live. You guys, we're going to be out there. We're going to be doing our show. There's going to be drink specials, $3 Redbird Lager pints, $5 Redbird Lager pitchers, and of course our usual PHNX specials of the $3 kilt lifters and wow pints. Wow, can I speak English today?
Yeah.
It would be nice. It's going to be so much fun though, and there's still time for you to RSVP, although spots are limited. I will say we are almost at capacity, so if you want to come, which I highly recommend you do, go check out our social media at PHNX_Cardinals or our events site page tab on our website. RSVP. Spots are limited though, so come out. If you are going to be drinking a Four Peaks beer though, you have to be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. I'm stoked for our Draft Day Live.
As am I. I mean, we had one for the Coyotes last year and it was an absolute vibe.
Yep.
And now for the second straight draft party, we have the 3rd overall draft pick for now. At least.
Whoa, I just put that together now.
Yeah.
The 3rd overall pick, 2 drafts in a row.
Hey, if the Cardinals want to find themselves a Logan Cooley, I will take it. That's all I'll say. It's gonna be a vibe there. I mean, it's always a vibe at Four Peaks. So you add Johnny Venerable to the mix, it's a party in the making. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. Also want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Burrito Express because they hooked up the office with some burritos this week and I needed them.
Yeah.
Like
same.
I was not doing well after Country Thunder last weekend. I was like on my last leg.
Confirm.
It was a sight to behold. I lost my voice. I'm pretty sure it took me 2 days to recover. But the burritos brought me back to life. So shout out to Burrito Express. There's nothing more that I love than a good burrito after a crazy weekend. But I love them from Burrito Express specifically because they're locally owned. And you know, they're here for us. Like we appreciate them so much. Make sure to check out their locations in Tempe and follow them on Twitter at BurritoEXP.
Yeah. They're the boys over there.
All right, let's get into our first segment because we have so much to talk about today. There were a ton of things that happened on the internet this week that had me saying, did you see this? I'm kind of excited to get into this because I feel like we have so much to break down, and for the most part, it's positive, which I feel like never happens for us.
I know it's exciting stuff. It's all reason to make you happy to be an Arizona sports fan. Which, I mean, let's be honest, there hasn't been too many of those. Yeah, I think the biggest story of the week, obviously, the Arizona Cardinals finally. Long anticipated, revealed their new uniforms, and the reactions have been mixed. But we have a picture of all 3 of them together, and I am interested to hear your takes, Shawn, because as a graphic designer, I feel like you have maybe a little bit different of an opinion than I do. Yeah, I mean, let's start left for right. Let's start with the whites. They are very clean.
Yeah.
The reds, they're red.
Thank you for the observation.
And the black looks like the Ohio State alternate jerseys. The white ones are very clean, and the other ones are just really uninspiring to me, but they could be a lot worse. Like I'm very just kind of indifferent towards them. I feel like they'll look pretty good on the field, but
what was
the
your
white one is
first
clean.
reaction? Like first initial, you saw them and you thought,
Meh,
man.
just like boring. But I will say this: that was brief, because after that these are so much better than the old ones.
Yeah.
And I do think the white ones are going to look so clean. So clean. If you can get them on the road against a snow team, put the Cardinals in their all whites in a snow game, that'll look good.
Yeah.
The red ones are all right. I do like that they have Arizona on the front, the first time in franchise history.
Yeah, you were telling me that it's the first time they've ever had Arizona.
Yeah, it usually says Cardinals there. So that's a cool little touch. And I like some of the details, Well,
let's get into the details. So let's start with the white one, because I think out of all of them, this one's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I think this one they did the best job on. I think it's the most different. See, my initial reaction when I saw all of them was like, they look so similar to their old ones. Like they barely made any changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this one is my favorite because I think it's clean. I think it's simple. And I'm usually a fan of just like very simple designs. And I think it is the most different from the other ones that they had in the past. So I'm a fan of the white ones. I think if I had to pick a favorite, mine would be white. But I do like I love that they incorporated Bird Gang.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
If I ever hear Bird City again, I'm going to die. Like, we're never doing Bird City ever again. So Bird Gang, I think, is pretty cool. I do like that the cardinal on the helmet has like a little bit of like a chromatic like shine
100%.
to it.
The helmets are nice.
Yeah, the helmets are cool. I like the Cardinals on the sleeve. I was a little surprised by their incorporation of, guess what they're calling silver, but I think it's like more gray.
Yeah. So I will say this. I at first was not a fan of it, but I hate that so many teams have gray face masks and don't have gray like in their jersey at all.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna have a gray face mask, I like that they actually work gray/silver into the jersey a little bit.
It's very silver. In
It is
person,
silver?
it's silver.
It's in person, it's silver.
100%
Okay.
silver.
Shane saw them in
They
person.
kind of just look red and black versions of the Detroit Lions jerseys a little bit to me.
If you guys want to have a video of the reel of what they look like when they're walking down,
absolutely. We'd love to see it. So yeah, I mean, I think out of all of them, the white is my favorite, but I was surprised by the incorporation of silver. I'm not quite sure what, so got the boxes going.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what the purpose of silver was, because I don't really correlate anything silver with Arizona. We're the copper state.
Yeah. That's very fair.
So
yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, the biggest criticism is they're very Ohio State-esque, and I think putting a number 6 in that jersey just makes me think of LeBron in
you can see
Ohio
the
State
shine
stuff
on the shoulder.
Yeah,
right
it
here.
is definitely. But honestly, that makes it
it's
even look
definitely
more
silver.
Ohio State to me.
Yeah.
Wow, that's I mean, it definitely. That's a very fair critique of them. If you were going to say they look like.
Yeah, that's
Ohio
something.
State
That's what I've been seeing all over the internet is like, this is literally just the Ohio State uniforms.
That's
like,
something Johnny said it was going to be before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Reds don't look bad though. I'll say that. Like they don't look.
No, they look a lot better in person.
They don't look terrible at all. They look good, like on an actual football player.
So let's get into the details of the red jersey, because I think this one is the one that's receiving the most criticism out of all of them. I can see why. I feel like they're just like the color rush uniforms, but now they're going to be like their permanent uniform.
Yeah, I mean, the jerseys were already. Oh no, they wore the white pants with them. I'll be interested to see how they mix up, if they mix up the pants with the jerseys at all. But I don't know. A lot of people don't like how big the Arizona is. I don't really mind it.
I just think it's so close to the number. Like they just like crunched it,
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. They're just, like I said, they're just really uninspiring. I would have rather them gone black outline on these, I think.
Okay. Instead of the silver. I'm just confused by the silver. Like, we're the copper state. Like, what does, I mean, I guess it doesn't really need to have any significance if like all they were going for was just like, it just looks cool, which I think is fine.
I wouldn't have minded if they had changed the beak of the Cardinal to silver and actually made it part of their logo and got rid of yellow altogether.
Interesting. Okay.
That or incorporated yellow into it, which I thought they were going to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the yellow just seems really out of place on the logo still, which is what it is. But it's kind of uninspiring. Like I said, it's a lot of Ohio State, a lot of very like Detroit Lions, but red.
Yeah.
If you were to mix the Detroit Lions jerseys and the Atlanta Falcons jerseys, you'd get the Cardinals uniforms.
Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism. And then finally the black, which I think is a majority of everyone's second favorite. It's literally just the white jersey, but reverse because it has like the same sleeve details, all that kind of stuff on the black. Again, like I don't mind them, but I'm just like overall, I'm just meh. Like just I'm not like inspired by it. I don't think it's like mind blowing. I just think it's a change and it checks the box and it's average.
Yeah. Again, way better than the last ones in my opinion.
Yeah.
B, the helmets, the black helmets are still clean. I do like the added detail to the logo. I mean, these are gonna look good on the field, I think. I guess my biggest issue with them is just like when you think new jerseys, you want something that's gonna be like unique, right? Like, and I get not everyone can be the Cincinnati Bengals and have such a specific kind of, I guess, pattern or whatever you can use to make your things unique. But I don't know. It definitely leaves a little bit to be desired, but I definitely think, like I said, a significant improvement. And I am a big fan of the color rush vibe that all of them give.
Yeah. So. I think out of all of the ones, the yellow looks the most out of place on the black. I think it just like
definitely
a stark,
it stands out on
like,
the black.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, Mr. Graphic Designer. If you could make a change or make these better, what would you do? What would be your first thing that you would do?
I mean, like I said, I think adding silver to the cardinal instead of the yellow would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I would have abandoned the silver gray look. I would have just gone white face mask or black face mask, maybe even potentially. I don't know. I'd have to see how it looks. It's hard to say kind of like in the abstract without playing around with it, what I think would make them better. But I just, like I said, the silver, and I'm not a fan of just like the straight lines on the sleeves and it's just boring.
That's
so
fair.
I think I would have done a little bit more to kind of incorporate something that felt a little more Arizona into it.
Yeah.
But
I think you either like go all in with the yellow and like incorporate it more or take it out like you said. I also was really disappointed that there was no incorporation of the Arizona flag anywhere on there because I think we all got it. At least I did. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but like I got it in my head that like, oh, they're going to like do some nod to like their throwback uniform and like get the flag somewhere in there. And that's going to be so sick because Arizona has a really cool state flag. Yeah. Not a lot of states can say that. So I think I was the most disappointed by like there was no incorporation of like the Arizona state flag on there.
And there's nothing stopping them from adding a different alternate jersey.
Yeah.
Like
Connor read my mind. Arizona flag on the sleeves.
Or adding to the jersey. That's the biggest. And I think another big thing that people aren't realizing is they changed the red. The red is a different color. It's not muted anymore.
Yeah.
The old red was terrible.
Yeah, it was a very muted red.
What I implore fans to do that are just immediately blocking this out is just put it next to the jersey from last year. They are miles better. Yeah. Miles better.
And let's be real, like the Bucks did this, the Jags did this, and then a few years later they changed them again because they just didn't like really work. Like it's not like you're stuck with these for another century like you've been with these last jerseys. Like,
well, I never know.
In theory, like there's nothing tying you to these for the rest of time.
Yeah.
So like, if you don't like them, maybe they'll change them again eventually.
Yeah. Some of the critiques in the comments, Corey saying swap silver with yellow, so he agrees with us.
Yeah, but Jan said it in the chat that my big fear is when you go yellow, it starts to look very
like
McDonald's-y or ACU, if you are familiar with them here.
Yeah. Albert saying that it definitely needed the flag. Connor saying would have loved to see the flag on the sleeve. Charles agreeing too.
I'm
love
curious
to see the flag
if they
return.
could have gone a little bit of like a band in the black and gone like a deep navy and red and actually leaned heavy into the flag vibe.
I don't know
curious.
about that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think my overall. I think
just
the thing
look
that
like U of A, especially
but you keep the yellow in there and you lean into the yellow a little
because
more.
the red jersey already looks a little U of A-ish.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think my biggest overall struggle with this is like I've never felt an attachment ever to the Cardinals identity because it's not an Arizona thing.
Yeah, that's what 100%.
Cardinals is so Midwest, obviously. St. Louis Cardinals, the Cardinals started in Chicago. So I've just never felt like any type of attachment to the Cardinals. I've never felt like it identified Arizona. I've never felt like it represented like the state of Arizona well.
That's an incredibly fair critique.
Like I'm not jazzed about the Cardinals in general.
I would have liked to see them lean more into a sand look too.
Yeah.
I think like a cream tan sand is really underutilized, especially in as a base jersey color.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see. I think that could have been cool. Maybe instead of going, a band in the yellow, maybe go more towards a sand-ish look. Which I'm not sure how I'd feel about that because that was my big problem with like the '90s, early 2000s, is all the muted colors that they did. Look at like I always think of the Oilers, specifically the Edmonton Oilers. You look at like their old copper color they had versus their royal blue and orange now, which is so much better. Like I'm not a huge fan of the muted colors, but like you said, it's a copper state, and I think you could have definitely played with it.
I just wish they
more.
would feel more Arizona.
Yeah.
That's just my biggest thing overall is like Cardinals, Arizona doesn't make sense, doesn't correlate to me, but it is what it is. Coney in the chat saying these are a good base jersey. Always can add like the LA Rams going to their original jersey type of deal. Totally agree.
Yeah, it's not permanent by any means.
Yeah, Corey saying the mock-ups with the feathers on the sleeves. I thought that those were cool too. I did see those mock-ups.
I just feel like you could have been a little more adventurous on them.
Yeah,
that's my
totally.
thing.
Overall, though, final thoughts. I'm glad they got new uniforms. They are a step up from the old ones.
For sure.
How big that step up is subjective to whoever is looking at the uniforms.
One small step for man.
One bigger step for the Cardinals. I also thought it was funny that they did it on Game 3 of the Suns playoffs. I feel like that was intentional. So in case it was like a major flop, they were just like, oh, out of the news cycle. Let's talk about the Suns. But one other thing, and I do want to say this before we move on, that I did pick up on and I did notice is that Buddha Baker was not there. So they had players come out in the jerseys. Kyler, D-Hump, like all of these players were there. Hollywood. Modeling the jerseys, and Buddha Baker was not in attendance, which kind of hurt my soul a little bit because when I think of the Arizona Cardinals, I think of Buddha Baker. Like he is the Cardinals for me. So I think it just kind of added a little bit of salt in the wound and showed how much, I guess, the relationship between Buddha and the Cardinals has deteriorated. DeAndre Hopkins was also not there, but that one didn't surprise me as much, obviously, because we've been talking about potential trade scenarios with D-Hop this entire offseason. So I wasn't as surprised about D-Hop not being there, but it hurt not seeing Buddha out there. Like, I feel like it was like a big thing for the organization, and not having Buddha there is like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be surprised. Like the man requested a trade, and you don't bring a guy whose future is in any kind of question to an event like this.
Yeah.
But it definitely like symbolically is sad, right? You think about kind of like the mainstay of this, the face of this franchise outside of Kyler, who is obviously rather polarizing. Like everyone loves Buddha.
Yeah.
And you would have loved to have that kind of guy, the guy that fills that role in your franchise to be there for this kind of moment for your franchise. So it definitely is sad, but I think it is, I don't know. It's kind of flipping the page, right? They don't now. You just moving on. New jerseys, move past the D-Hop Buddha situation and just kind of move on.
Just pay the man. Just give Buddha whatever he wants, honestly.
I just don't know that that's really in the cards.
It was good to see Rondale Moore walking and healthy.
Yeah.
It was good to see. I mean, obviously,
Kyler was using his legs too.
To see Kyler like literally not in like a wheelchair is very encouraging.
Looking at Kyler have 2 operational legs.
Yeah.
Good sign. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't surprising that Buddha wasn't there, but it hurt. It hurt my soul. I hate that. I wish they would just give Buddha whatever he wanted. But yay, the Cardinals uniforms, they're here. We can put that to bed and now focus on hopefully getting a new owner. All right. Another thing that had me...
I was gagging earlier.
Another thing that had me saying, did you see this? I loved this. I love stuff like this.
So
I'm such a sucker for this kind of stuff. Yesterday, every single Diamondbacks player and coach showed up to the field in a Suns hat and a Suns shirt. It makes my heart so happy. I'm so all in on the hashtag #AllAZ movement. I feel like it's not like the biggest news story in the world. And I feel like this is pretty common when you have like a team in your state that is in the playoffs, like another team will do this kind of thing. But I just I don't know. It brings me so much joy, mostly because I love the Suns and the Diamondbacks the most. And just to see the little baby backs out there in their little Suns gear. And I love also, side note, how they're all posing. So Derek took these pictures at the field. I love how they're all like posing for Derek, like it's like the first day of school.
Especially because like Corbin and Josh are such tiny guys as it is. Like they already are just, they look so adorable.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I just love to see this kind of stuff. Obviously, Josh Rojas rocking it, Corbin Carroll. You just love to see it. They're just so happy. I like it when they support the teams, and they don't have to do it. One of the best days of my life, though, was when Katie showed up to the game in a Corbin Carroll jersey. So this just kind of continues the theme of the Diamondbacks and the Suns supporting each other. And when I have hope for Arizona's future, this is what gives me hope, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
What's wrong? What just happened? I feel like something just happened.
ASU's Devin Cambridge just transferred in conference to Oregon.
Devin Cambridge just transferred to Oregon. For those of you that did not hear. Okay, we're not going to talk about it. We're ignoring it.
That's all I got to say.
Huh?
I said just more flashbacks to Taya Hansen. But yeah, no, it's really cute to see these guys, especially because most of them like haven't been in the city very long. Like Josh is obviously very different. He's a Valley native and has been playing for the team for a few years. But obviously, this is Corbin's first full year here. Same with Dre. Like it's cool to see them like buying into not just the team but the city.
Yeah.
After not having been here that long. It's very cool.
Absolutely. Also, shout out to Carly. Carly's in the comments. Just dudes being bros. I love that, Carly. I agree. It's just dudes being bros. You love to see it. Or a bunch of buds being bros. Yeah. Very much that energy. Albert saying thought Mac was gonna say she loves seeing MadBum DFA. Don't you worry, we're gonna get to that. We have some thoughts about that. That's coming up a little bit later in the show, not to give anything away. Daniel agrees that Derek's Little League style photos was the best. You love to see it. Katie had a Dbacks hat on last night. That's true. He did wear a Dbacks
He's been
hat.
wearing it the last couple days.
You just love it, like the Suns and the Dbacks, you know, just besties for the resties. XDS saying, bro, I keep getting bad news on the stream. I know this is like the third show in a row where we've broken like bad news. Very sorry for all of you ASU fans out there, but it's fine. We're not going to talk about that yet. Do you guys have a show coming up today?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
2 p.m. Wow.
PHNX Sun Devils is going to be live today at 2 to break all that down. There's a lot to talk about. So you can mourn the loss of an in-conference transfer on the PHNX Sun Devil show. One more thing that had me saying, did you see this? That we have to talk about because I'm concerned.
Oh my God. You want to talk about down biblically, ferociously, apocalyptically.
Horrendously, tragically bad.
Oh my God.
Last night at the Diamondbacks game, as they were taking on the Padres, they do this part during an inning break where they put up messages on DBTV. And this message popped up. Alexandria W, you are my person. Let's keep fighting for us. I love you.
But no. It's let's keep fighting for us?
Question mark? I love you.
I love you. I mean,
I'm speechless, and that's a lot.
Yeah. First off, if this is serious, this is toxic. You don't be putting this kind of public pressure on a person like this.
Alexandria, run.
Lame. Definitely run for the fucking hills.
Run for the hills, sister.
If this is not serious, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen because that is comedy. I was floored when I saw this because I was at the game last night and I was blown away. It's just an absolutely wild move. And also from the guy's perspective, like this, it's over, dog. It's over. It's too far gone. If you're making public pleas, it's over. Like you gotta go.
That is the most public display of down bad that I've ever seen in my life.
Terrible.
So I did a little bit of digging because I have some inside sources with the Diamondbacks. Because when I first saw that, I was like, there's no way. There's no possible way that someone actually typed that out, submitted it to like this place where it could be on the DBT. There's no way. So I was
paid for it. They had to pay for that.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe they were just like, the Diamondbacks like staff were like, oh, like let's just get this out there to like go viral and be funny and like try it out. Kind of like what the Rockies do with like their scoreboard. It's like, there's no way. So I texted my friends. I was like, is this real? And they were like, this is 100% real. Like we got this. We were mind blown by it. And we like had to talk about if we should even put it up there, but they paid for it. So we're like, I guess we had to put it up there. So it's real in the terms of the fact that like the team didn't just do this to like get some like shits and giggles. Like it's real in the fact that someone really did pay for that and get that up there on the screen. So
Jace texted his ex after and said you don't have to respond to this, but tell your families and hey, that made me laugh. Yeah, but Daniel's saying it. The question mark, it's a question mark for me. Like you gotta ask, let's fight for us, brother. If you're asking, it's over.
It's over. Yeah, not only is he down bad, but that's just so toxic and like just horrible.
I hope it's a joke.
Alexandria, please run for the hills.
Because like I was saying to Shane, if you're like in a group of friends or whatever, and like you know you're dating somebody, but the two of you are in like a larger group of friends, like that could be funny if everyone's kind of in on the joke. But if that is real, sprint. That'd be a hilarious prank to play on your friend, though.
Yeah. Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Do that for his girl. That could be funny.
Oh man.
Maybe I'm just a bad
Everyone
person.
in the comments having very similar reactions. Bees say the D-backs should have saved him by just like not putting it up
For
there.
real.
Yeah, they should have done him a solid. Connor saying, what is it with the D-backs and love stories? This is like
Right.
another thing that another thing that went
Last
viral
year,
with
yeah.
relationships. Elizabeth saying, run girl run. Yeah, just get out of there. It is not the relationship for you.
That's crazy.
Just the things that have happened this week, just wild. Obviously, that message was at a D-backs game, and if you want to go to a D-backs game, because you never know what you're going to see, you know, it's different. Every single time you go to the ballpark, something new happens.
I've seen someone sprint on the field there one time. That was the most electric race
Streakers,
of my life.
yeah, you never know what you're going to see. If you want to go to a game though and have the potential of seeing something like that, you got to get your tickets on the Game Time app, you guys. I know that some of you guys are procrastinators like I am, and you want to support your favorite team, but you're really tired of the hidden fees and the weird costs that they add on tickets. I totally get it. It's happened to me so many times. The only time I feel like I'm actually getting a good deal and I'm not surprised by any fees is when I use the Game Time app to get my tickets. I love the Game Time app. They have sporting events on there, concerts, parking passes, just anything that you might need a ticket to. Game Time has got you covered. They are the place for last minute ticket deals, and it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. So make sure you snag your tickets without stress on the Game Time app. All you have to do is go to the App Store, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code PHNX when you download the Game Time app for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, low prices guaranteed. I might need to use Game Time if I'm going to be going to the Game 5 for the Suns playoffs. Obviously, this is going to Game 5 or higher. But before we get into it, let's make sure we get a temperature check because we're keeping it positive, but I do think that we need a temperature check on the Phoenix Suns and everything that's happening with the NBA playoffs. Obviously, the Suns are in LA to take on the Clippers for Game 4 coming up. Game 3 was last night, and the Suns, thankfully, by some miracle, I don't know how, by the way that they've played, have a 2-1 lead in the series. The Clippers have obviously been without Paul George. They were without Kawhi last night, and still the Suns barely beat the Clippers. 129 to 124 was the final score. Shawn, what is going on with the Suns? What is happening with this team?
Well, the real answer is that they don't have a bench. Again, only quick maths, 18 points from the bench last night. Not enough compared to the 39 of the Clippers. And that's a Clippers team who had two of their actual starters not playing. Connor saying, thank God for Booker, because without him, you're not in this series, even with KD. Like
Booker has put this team on his back. He was like, you guys don't want to show up? Fine, I'll show up. Because Booker has literally just like strapped the Suns to his back and carried them through these especially the last two games.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely concerning. Like I am most certainly like the alarm bells are ringing a little bit. You should be handling a team without KG and PG more. And as Connor said, if this team is fully healthy, you might be down 3-0. But they're not, and so you got to take it where you can get it. But it's definitely concerning. But they're winning games, and that's all you can really ask for them for right now.
Yeah. Jan saying a win's a win. A win is a win. So I'm not complaining by any means, but it's just like I had such high expectations for the Suns team going into the playoffs, and I will say this series has dampered my expectations by a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew not having Paul George was like a gift from the basketball gods. I'm never ever rooting for injuries, so don't get me wrong. So coming into the series and not having PG, I was like, okay. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, it's going to be a little bit less competitive. Like, this is the Suns' chance to really, like, get out there and punch them in the mouth. Yeah. And they have done everything but punch the Clippers in the mouth. And then when we got the news that Kawhi was going to be out, again, not rooting for injury. Injuries are not fun. But you don't look a gifted horse in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, thankful that it was during the Suns series, but feel for Kawhi. Hope he's okay. But I was just expecting just an absolute dominance, like top to bottom performance from at least the Suns starting five. I know the bench is a completely different story, but we did not get that.
No.
Devin Booker was the only player that showed up last night. He just went off. He finished the game with 45 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and he shot 62% from the floor. I love watching Booker ball out. Don't get me wrong. Like, watching Devin Booker play basketball is incredible, but we can't go into games only relying on Devin Booker.
Yeah, no. And I mean, to be fair, Kevin Durant did drop 28. And I would say, and Shane and I were kind of talking about this morning, but like, I would almost say, obviously it's not the most encouraging thing, but if you want to look at it from a positive perspective, like, you haven't had a game where Kevin Durant takes over, or a game where DeAndre Ayton's taken over, and you know he's capable of that. Like, in the playoffs, we've seen him do it before, or not necessarily take over, but at least assert his own dominance. And I mean, his best scoring game so far this series is 18 points, which he can do more than that. And so it's encouraging from that regard. But yeah, no, certainly, like, it is. If Devin Booker is the only thing you got going for you, like, that's definitely not a great position to be in. Like, there's certainly worse positions to be in, but in the context of these playoffs, like, it's definitely not somewhere you want to be. But it's certainly better than there being no D-Buck. I'll say that for them.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, someone in the comments said if PG was playing, we'd be looking at like down 3-0. I think if it weren't for Devin Booker, we'd be down 3-0 for sure. So I just I can't say enough good things about Devin Booker, but I just don't I don't want this team to be resting on his shoulders. Like, that's obviously not what we hedged our future on. Like, we traded 2 huge key pieces of this young core to bring KD here. And before anyone shoots me, I'm not saying KD is bad, but it's just not, it's not doing what we're hoping it to do. You know?
I mean, not yet, at least. And there's still Kevin Durant, Like, there's plenty of time for him to do that, and I'm sure he will by the end of these playoffs.
For sure.
The reality is like you said, or like we've been talking about, they played a team last night without any stars. And
okay, I'm pushing back on that. Norman Powell was a star last night. He was.
I mean, they got guys who can play like stars.
He was a star last night.
But I mean, you don't become a star in one night.
But it doesn't matter. If you play like a star tonight, you're a star for that game. He was 10 of 13 at halftime. Like,
I mean,
he couldn't miss a 3.
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
Yeah,
but
so
they're playing without.
It's also the playoffs.
No
game is easy. You don't just walk past people.
Very true. But my point was that they are going to have to play teams with bona fide stars.
Yeah.
And if this is what you're doing against teams without bona fide stars, it is definitely a cause for concern. But
definitely a cause for concern.
I'm not like, they're still winning.
Yeah.
And Devin Booker is still doing this. So I have no reason to believe that he won't do it until he doesn't.
Yeah. Will you scroll up on the comments, Shane? Because Bees brought up something that I want to talk about, because I got not crucified for saying it. No, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there. It makes sense that Kawhi-less Clippers put up a fight. Those rotations have the most chemistry due to reps in regular season with load management of their stars. I said before the playoffs started, the only thing I'm concerned about is the lack of reps that the starting 5 had gotten as a team before we were heading into the playoffs. And everyone thought I was losing my loving ever mind, because they're like, it's KD. Like, I understand that it's KD, but like, there are these like things like reps with your regular season team, like load management with your stars, that like they didn't have time to get in before the playoffs started. And I was like, I think this is cause for concern. And everyone's like, you're dumb.
But I don't think that the starting lineup has given you like any cause for concern yet. It's the fact that they have no bench. And I do think like that point is valid as far as the Clippers are concerned. Like, obviously these guys have had a lot more time playing together and playing in these roles because they have had a lot of games without Kawhi or Paul George. But as far as the Suns are concerned, like, I'm not concerned about their lack of chemistry or anything from the starting lineup.
I think you do see lack of chemistry from the starting lineup on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's
fair.
The biggest thing. It's just you don't know rotations yet. You don't know where you're supposed to be yet. And that comes easy. But, like, offensively, it's seamless. Like, it's what you expected. But defensively, I think there is cause for concern there.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I just like, that's what I was concerned about. And it's not necessarily like the talent or like you were saying, like the offensive efficiency. It's just like this intangible, like,
yeah, that's fair.
We are a one unit together as a team.
And how do you handle adversity when you don't have that time together?
And that's what I was concerned about. And everyone's like, you're dumb. And I'm like, I don't think I'm dumb. Like, I think this is like a valid concern. Like, obviously KD is like top 10 basketball player. Like, so good. Like I wasn't concerned about that. It was just like this like mentality of like, we are a team, we gel together, we know each other inside and out, we can run plays without like having to be like vocal, like I'll read your mind while you read mine, like that type of thing. And like I just don't think we're seeing it. And so that's what I'm concerned about more than anything.
That's fair. I mean, Killer Rex makes a good point that people thought that this team was just going to blow people out because Kevin Durant was on the team, and I don't think that was ever realistic, especially against this Clippers team. Like I was never of the mindset that like they were going to sweep this Clippers team, like it's going to be absolute dominance. But that being said, like you do want to see them blow out a team that doesn't have their two best players. That's for damn
but
sure.
I do think there are dominating performances in the playoffs that make you say, oh shit, that's a team. Like the Nuggets first game in the series, like I was like, oh shit, that's a team. Like it made me kind of like question calling the Nuggets a fraud because I was like, oh shit.
They were playing the Thunder. Like
no. They were playing a team that is not a real team.
No,
the
not
Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves, yeah.
Like,
yeah, but like
no, I completely
but
agree.
I mean, there is a difference between a 4 seed playing a 5 seed and a 1 seed playing an 8 seed.
Yes,
like it is definitely a different situation.
So I don't know. I'm just a little nervous. Do you have any confidence that the Suns are going to get any of this worked out, or do you ultimately think that their lack of bench is going to be their undoing and there's nothing that they can do about it?
If they don't win the finals, it will be because of the bench, I think. So I don't think there's any like figuring out the bench. There's nothing you can really do about that now. Like if it's just a matter of are your guys going to be your guys, and I am not concerned about that.
Yeah.
But there is this is the bed that they have to lay in now. Can their starting lineup carry them through the playoffs? They have the talent for it, but that's a very large ask.
Yeah.
So there's definitely reason to be concerned, but the reason that I have to be concerned is the same reason you had to be concerned before the playoffs, which is that they don't have a bench. I am not concerned at all about any chemistry issues, about Kevin Durant, about anybody as far as like the stars are concerned. I'm not. There's definitely no concern as far as I'm concerned from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. If they lose, it's because of the bench. But also, I will say, like, is it wrong to be a little disappointed in what I've seen from DA so far?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's literally a little different because he's now third on the totem pole, right? But there's only one ball. But like I said earlier, you've seen him before assert his dominance in the postseason, and it definitely has not been that yet. It's only been 3 games, but it is definitely it's slightly disappointing. But they've played 3 games. Like they've only played 3 games. I'm not. Obviously, it's the playoffs, and every game means a lot. But they're still up in the series. They're gonna win this series. Like
you better knock on that wood again.
Yeah, like they're gonna win this series. They should win this series.
Connor giving flowers to Torrey Craig. I agree. Holy cow, Torrey Craig. Talk about a nice little, not necessarily surprise, but nice little leg up that he's given the Suns. Killer X saying we wouldn't be doing any better with Makayla and Cam. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they'd necessarily be doing any better. I mean, they'd have more depth, so I think it would look different, but I don't necessarily. I mean, you could only do so much better than being up 2-1 anyways. Like, I guess they could be up 3-0, but I don't know. Like, Kevin Durant's still Kevin Durant, dude. Like, I think people forget that part in the conversation of like the Devin Booker thing. Like, teams have to respect that Kevin Durant is on the court, and so that definitely frees things up for Devin Booker and allows him to be Devin Booker. Which it's not respect they have to pay Makayla or Cam. Reality. So I don't necessarily think they'd be doing any better, but it would look different.
Yeah. So really quick, series predictions. How many games do you think this is going to go to?
5. I think they'll.
Think they're going to close it out.
Yeah.
So win game 4, then win at home, and it's done.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about them. But I think the Clippers are giving you their best.
Yeah.
And
this talk about a great series. Yeah. Like this is
Russ. If you didn't respect that man before, you better now.
Yeah, this is a true test for the Suns, and it's a tough matchup. I don't even want to know how it would go if PG was playing, but I think it's going to go to 6. I think the Suns will get the dub on the road, but I haven't had my confidence and my unshakable faith in the Suns is a little shaken. A little shaky.
And nothing we can do about it. We just got to sit here and enjoy.
Before we talk about one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life.
You and me both. You're one of the few people that can match my hater energy, but this is warranted hate. So
I'm the biggest hater. Scroll up from the other comment, Shane. I forget. Nope, right there. Gabriel saying we also have 3 more seasons after this one with Book and KD. This is only a trial run, which brings up the question I have to ask: if for whatever reason, oh my god, I'm scared to even say this, they don't do it this year. I'll just say that they don't do it this year. Are you going to be like heartbroken? Like this was their time. This was the window.
No, we talked about it a little bit last week. Like I'm not. My biggest concern if they don't win the NBA Finals is that they're going to try to overcorrect and make a stupid decision like trying to go get Kyrie Irving or something like that, which I think ultimately would be a mistake. That's my biggest concern. But on paper, like it's gonna suck because of how much excitement there was, and so it's definitely like a pretty far fall emotionally. But I think you give me a little bit, I'll be fine. Like it's only one team can win the finals. This is their first year. They only had like you mentioned, it only had a little bit of time together. They've got a couple years. I think it'll be fine.
So you're not going to be heartbroken.
I mean, I'll be heartbroken because I want the Suns to win, but I think it won't be. You give me a couple months, I'll get over it. I don't think it'll be a situation where I'm like, damn, that was our one opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So if the Suns do win the series against the Clippers, they're going to take on the winner of Denver, Minnesota. How do you feel about that?
I mean, not great because I'm pretty sure Denver is going to win the series, and I don't feel great because I don't like. I don't want to be that. Listen, Shane's giving me a look. I'm not worried about the Nuggets. I'm not worried. No, I know. I have been asking for the smoke. That's why I'm. That's the only thing that worries me is that this has been a bet that I and plenty of others here have made.
I will have to lie in it too because I've called the Nuggets fraud. So
like I definitely the Suns have not been as convincing, and the Nuggets have looked good. Like I'm definitely
bombastic side eye.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's the playoffs.
No, listen, I do. Like you gotta play your teams, and like if the Suns win, like I do want the smoke. Like but
he wants the smoke.
I definitely I am worried
so much
about
respect for you. You've been talking all this up, and now you're like, hey, I'm a little worried.
I am definitely a little worried. Like,
yeah.
I'm not worried. Jamal Murray.
I'm just worried about the lack of bench, man.
Most 40-point games in Nuggets playoff history with 5.
Yeah.
Book just dropped his
No,
fifth.
listen, I just
at 45.
It's just the bench. The bench has given me a lot of reason to be worried, I think.
That's fair.
And the depth thing worries me. But as far if you go on starting 5 versus starting 5.
Yeah. It's no
Have you seen
Joker
the minutes they've
shit.
been playing? It's mainly starting 5 versus starting 5.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's very
for
fair.
sure. And Jan saying who in Denver can defend KD.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem like Shane and I were talking about this too. Devin Booker's playing like the best. He's the best player on the planet right now. He's the best player in these playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody stopping him. Fuck KD. Like, and again, KD's part of why he's so hard to stop. But still, like, Jamal is not going to have shit to say to Devin Booker.
Jamal is Booker's father, or whatever people say.
Okay, gay.
Yeah, okay. Really quickly, so we've got the Kings and Golden State. Kings are up 2-1. I am like low key impressed by the Kings. Like,
I'm not. I said before the playoffs that the Kings were going to do this.
Yeah.
I thought people were being disrespectful. Like, I wasn't going to be surprised if the Warriors came out here because they are the Warriors.
Yeah.
But like,
I just think because it's been so long since the Kings have been
100%.
in the playoffs. Like,
everyone was definitely
expect.
the same way I treat a handful of my teams. Just like this is. They're still the Kings. They could have prime Jordan on the team. They're still the Kings. So they're going to figure out a way to screw this up. But and they still might. But
make a prediction then, Shawn. Who wins that series?
Yeah, Kings, Golden State. What do you think?
After the Warriors did what they did last night without Draymond, who wins that series?
I still think it'll be the Kings. It's just beating Sacramento and Sacramento was hard, and the Warriors are not a good road team. Like, I'm still rocking with them. Again, I'm not going to be surprised if the Kings don't win a single game, another game of the series. I'm not going to be like, how did this happen? But I'm still like Connor said, light the beam.
Like the beam. I want the Kings to win, but I think Golden State will win that series. I think experience is going to play a huge key factor later in some of the later games. And then we've got Memphis Lakers series tied at 1. I'm just going to say Memphis because I fucking hate the Lakers, and I will never pick the Lakers to win anything because I hate them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them. I struggle to see the Lakers coming back in the series, but I don't.
What do you mean coming back?
Are they not losing the series?
They're up. It's tied 1-1.
It's tied.
Oh my god! Why did I think they were down?
It's a parade inside my city.
Yeah. I think the Kings are going to win. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, the Lakers.
Hello.
The
That would
Lakers
be
are-
crazy.
That would be crazy. The Lakers are winning the series.
I think the Lakers won that series
I
too.
think
No.
John Morant's hand doesn't work.
Yeah,
Bleh.
that's tough. Dylan Brooks is going to do something stupid. God,
I'm not saying you're
Oh,
wrong,
oh,
but I hate
I've
the Lakers
started
so
to
much.
dislike that
Oh my
team.
God, what am I saying? The Lakers are going to win 4-1 now because what Dylan Brooks said.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks said, "Oh my
Disrespected LeBron.
God, that was."
I wish Dylan Brooks wasn't on that team because I love them very much, but they're starting to make me hate them, and it's very, very sad because that's not the kind of person I am. I love obnoxious dominance. And so it's very sad to see it's very sad to see this happen.
I love the Laker hater energy happening in the chat right now because absolutely FLA for the rest of our lives,
Yeah, no, fuck the
forever and
Lakers,
always.
though. I love LeBron is the problem.
No.
I just wish he wasn't a Laker.
No. I don't want to hear about that on the show. All right, so we got an interesting the playoffs. I love playoff basketball. I also love it more now that we don't have a guaranteed winner every year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Sunnies are going to pull it out. Everything's fine. Everyone take a deep breath. All right. So before we talk about
more for Makayla in the chat.
Yeah, it was more for me reassuring myself. Before we talk about the best day of Shawn and R's lives, we might need to take an OGs to calm down a little bit because I have a feeling this next segment is going to get a little rowdy.
No, you're rowdy over. It's just straight vibes over here now.
Like pure
It's straight
excitement.
vibes over here now.
We got to take an OGs because we got to mellow out a little bit before we get into this segment. We love OGs. They are one of our favorite partners because we get them, they get us. It's all about our partnership together. And they, let's be honest, are the best scratch-made THC gummies in the state of Arizona because they are made right here in Arizona. You guys have heard me harp on the orange creamsicle flavor since the beginning of time.
Every time I have one, I'm surprised by how good it is.
Like, it's mind-blowing. Orange creamsicle is obviously my favorite, but they have their new strawberries and cream CBD and THC 1-to-1 ratio Happy Balance gummies, which I go back and forth. I keep changing my mind. I'm like, one week I really love the strawberries and cream. The other week I really love the orange creamsicle. Like, it's
still haven't gotten my hands on any strawberries and cream. Yeah. And strawberries and cream is my favorite flavor of like dessert stuff.
We need to fix that ASAP because the CBD and the THC together is like...
And my knees have been sore recently too. It'll probably be real nice.
Yeah. We got to get you some of those Happy Balance because they're to die for. P-Dog saying happy 421, yo. Yeah. Hopefully it was happy 420 for everyone else yesterday. Hopefully you celebrated 420 with some OGs because there's genuinely no better way to celebrate 420 than with OGs. Like I said, the most elite THC gummies in the state of Arizona. You can find them at your local dispensary at ogsbrands.com, and you must be 21 years or older to enjoy.
The national nightmare is
over. Oh my God. I could cry tears of happiness.
Glory be.
We need some like church music, like hallelujah, the nightmare is over.
We need a hymn. Oh my God. Anything is possible, including eating $30+ million because you're
I have never been so happy to see a team waste $34 million in my entire life.
You can't look at it like waste.
That was money well spent.
They purchased freedom.
Freedom.
Like it. They say freedom has no price. It's a lie.
It was $34 million, and it was worth every penny.
Cent. God, I have never been happier.
Oh my God, the nightmare is over. Madison Bumgarner for you.
We really
for
buried the lead
there. For those of you who've been living under a rock, Madison Bumgarner got designated for assignment this week. And I just, tears of joy, happiness, relief. Our suffering is over.
I didn't feel this kind of unbridled joy when Katie got here. No. Like it was the same thing where multiple times yesterday I was like, oh my God, we live in a world where Madison Bumgarner is not a D-back. It's so good.
Oh my God, I could cry. I'm so excited. Obviously, the decision came.
He was so bad
after he got shellacked in St. Louis and gave up 7 runs in 3 innings.
The starts before that.
Just to paint a picture for everybody, if you're not a baseball nerd like Shawn and I are, so far in 2023, Madison Bumgarner has made 4 starts. He has gone 0-3. He has a 10 or had. We can talk about this in the past tense now. He had a 10.26 ERA.
I mean, he didn't die. He still has a 10.26. If he signs somewhere else, he'll still have a 10.26 ERA.
Yeah. And that was all in 16 innings pitched.
Loser.
Plus a negative 0.8 WAR.
Loser.
He contributed nothing except
he took
misery.
Away. He contributed plenty of pain, sorrow, and suffering.
I could go on about this forever. Anyways, it was all really bad. 16 innings pitched, 25 hits, 20 runs, 19 earned runs, 15 walks, only 10 strikeouts, and a 10.26 ERA. My God, I know that it was only in 4 starts, but that's enough for me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Seen enough at that point.
I was so over it. And I honestly got like almost pre-sad after his last start because I got to the point where I got like disappointed in the franchise because I was just like, how are you? You don't care. Like you are not trying to win a championship.
Yeah.
If you are trotting that man out there every 5 days.
Yeah. There's no way.
You clearly just don't care.
Yeah. It was like self-harm. It was like an abusive relationship.
It was. And I was getting very like upset because I was just like, there's no worse feeling as a fan, a sports fan, than to be a fan of a team whose ownership just doesn't give a shit. Like it's you care so much and
Tell
they
me
don't.
about it.
Yeah. And so like I was really getting to a point where I was just like getting really disappointed, and they rectified all that yesterday morning.
And it, like we mentioned, it wasn't for nothing. They originally signed Madison Bumgarner in 2019 to a 5-year, $85 million deal. They still owe him $34 million.
Madison Bumgarner is the greatest World Series pitcher of all time, arguably. He's pitched 36 innings, has a sub-1 ERA in the World Series. It's ridiculous.
I can get down with that.
But none of it happened here. I understand why they wanted to sign him. Was too much money probably in the moment, but still I understand it.
Yeah.
But holy shit,
I remember that day in December of 2019 like the back of my hand because he was one of the best postseason pitchers of all time, like you said, and it was a monumental day for the Diamondbacks. Like it was a big day when they originally assigned him. However, I just want to make sure that I have my receipts, because I was never, ever, ever a fan of this because I thought they paid way too much money to a pitcher that was past his prime and was aging. And I'm on record by saying this is going to be a bad deal. So I just want to give myself flowers.
No experience with franchises paying way too much money to aging players.
So I just want to give myself flowers because I don't want to say I called it, but I knew this was going to happen and I was not a fan of it. And I am the biggest Mike Hazen truther on the face of the planet. Like if I could go outside on the street corner of 4th and Van Buren right now and scream, I love Mike Hazen from the top of my lungs, I absolutely will, because that is how much faith.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
That is how much faith I have in Mike Hazen.
We will record it right
after
after
let's go.
We're going right after
do it after this. But this deal.
She thinks I'm joking.
This deal made me kind of doubt for a second because I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? So I was never a fan of this.
Yeah.
But I remember it was a big day for the Diamondbacks franchise.
And you have to there is a part of running a team where you have to keep in you have to weigh like the fact that you're running a business and you trying to get something that is interesting here. Because when they signed MadBum, there was not a whole lot going for the D-backs, very little to make people interested in the team.
And in their defense, he was coming off a solid year with the Giants. He went 9-9 with a 3.90 ERA, a 1.13 WHIP. So it wasn't like he was like atrocious.
So there was plenty of reasons. But you're at a point now where he's not giving you anything baseball-wise, and there was way more exciting about the team than Madison Bumgarner. So he's not really giving you anything from a business marketing perspective. Like it was time. Yeah,
it was absolutely time. Before we get into what Mike Hazen had to say, I also want to paint another picture because I only painted you guys a picture of the 2023 season, but I want to paint a more complete picture, a Van Gogh piece of art, if you will.
I don't know about a piece of art. But.
In 69 career starts for the Arizona Diamondbacks, dating back from 2020, Madison Bumgarner went 15-32. With a 5.23 career ERA with the Diamondbacks, a 1.38 WHIP, and a minus 0.6 BWAR. He finished his time with the Diamondbacks with the highest ERA for a starting pitcher in the organization's history.
Just tragic, dude. Just tragic.
That is horrible. That is horrible. He was making more money than the entire roster put together, and that is what we got.
Like I said, the national nightmare is over. Like it is genuinely like I feel like I feel like I just got out of school, like I just graduated, or I don't know. I just got out of a bad relationship, like you said. Like there's a literal, like a physical, tangible weight off of my shoulders. Like I feel lighter. I can touch rim now. I could always touch rim.
Like those stats are atrocious.
Yeah.
They speak for themselves. But thankfully, the person I'm going to go scream on the corner of 4th and Van Buren for talked to the media yesterday about his decision and why they decided to DFA Madison Bumgarner. And I want to talk about it because I think he said something that was really important. But here you go.
I've thought about that word urgency over the last 48 hours. And yes, I think that I ask our players and staff to have urgency around how we're going to play and attack. And so I have to do the same thing. I can't be a hypocrite and ask for that and not do it in my job. And so that was part of the reason we made a decision that there was, the team has played its butts off over the last first 3 weeks of the season, frankly. They go out there every night, even yesterday. We hung around that game. I think if that game stretched out a little longer, I think we're going to win that game. We seem to score every time they score, and so I felt like we needed to make this decision.
Urgency.
Yeah,
urgency.
And he said something that was so crucial. There is you are disrespecting the other guys on this team by trotting out.
Yep.
Madison Bumgarner once every 5 games. Like everybody else on this team has been playing so well, playing so hard. Leading the division, obviously. One of the more exciting teams in baseball right now. They deserve better. Torrey deserves better than being forced to trot Madison Bumgarner out there once every 5 days.
I have this like vision in my head of Torrey like driving to the ballpark on every 5th day, being like, God damn it.
Yeah. Those are the days with that. The bags under his eyes are real big.
Yeah. Those are the night before he lost sleep.
Gucci.
I just love that Mike Hazen said that because first of all, it gives me confidence that they recognize what's going on with their team, which they should, obviously. Their front office for their team. They're making all these decisions. But like when you're not like, when you're just like a fan or you're not like covering the team 24/7, like sometimes those nuances kind of just like pass you by. But just the fact that he recognizes this team is playing their butts off right now. We have so many good guys on our roster. We cannot do this to ourselves. We have to move with urgency. I was like, oh, thank the Lord. Like, I'm just glad that was recognized, like you said, and he brought it up because it's true. Like, they put Dre Jameson in the bullpen, right?
Yes.
Dre was pissed, like not trying to throw the guy under the bus by any stretch of imagination. But we talked to him in the clubhouse before opening day, and he was like, I feel like I'm a starting pitcher. Like, I know my identity. I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I can handle this, but there's not any room for me in the rotation. And it's just weird having to come out of the bullpen and I'm not used to it. And I'm like, why on God's green earth are we doing this to ourselves? Like, literally, they were shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah. And you have like, I think Derek and Jesse were talking about this on the PHNX Diamondbacks show yesterday. Like, you have blockages on your talent in the minors because you have so many good things happening in the majors. It's a great problem to have, but if it's self-inflicted, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, it's always been my thing. It's like at the end of the day, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to win baseball games? You need to put the best players out there, and it didn't seem like that's what they're doing. But it's over now. And they got through these first couple of weeks of the season with MadBum on the roster, with him having a few starts. Yeah, and they're still in a good spot. So
yeah, absolutely. I will say something that was funny though. I forget who it was. It was one of the Diamondbacks beat reporters, or maybe it might have been Gambo. They tweeted that, I think it was Gambo. He said that he heard that Madison Bumgarner took the news very humbly. He apologized for his performance, and he said that he understood the move. And I was like, okay, like it's a little sad. Obviously, like he's one of the all-time greats, like blah blah blah. But I was like, how would you not take that well?
You're like, I can't believe this is happening.
You're getting paid $34 million to go be a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, I know, that's such a vibe. That's what people are always like, and I get it. You love the game, but he's been doing it for a minute now. He's not that old, but he's been playing for a little bit.
He's old in the terms of professional athlete.
He doesn't even really seem like he gives a shit about baseball. He wants to be a cowboy. Like, let Madison go out there and get all that money and get himself a big ranch and some horses.
Like, how would you not take that well? Like,
yourself.
You're getting paid a buttload of money.
He's still going to pitch. He's going to end up on another roster somewhere, which
you think that. So?
Yeah.
You really think so?
He shouldn't, but I don't think people are paying attention. I think he's going to end up in Texas with Bruce Bochy. He's going to sign a minor league contract somewhere and get another attempt. I think he'll end up on one or two more teams this year, and this will be his last.
I think the only dumbest team in the league that could possibly do that is the Colorado Rockies.
Stop it. I mean, you're not wrong, but Bruce Bochy has a really good relationship with him in Texas. There's that. San Francisco could always bring him back just for the vibes because they're not that great.
They might just
or a
bring
team
him back
like
for the vibes.
Oakland or Kansas City. Like, you just need someone that is willing to go out there.
I don't know. I don't think anyone wants to do that to themselves.
I think someone's going to sign him to a minor league contract because he doesn't need money anymore. He's not like he's going to demand a big contract. Like, sign him to a minor league contract because I'm sure he still wants to play, and just hope that maybe Arizona wasn't it, and he can find a little bit something there somewhere.
Yeah,
I wouldn't hold my breath, but
I think out of all the places, I think I would just most like to see him go back to San Francisco so he can just like be back with that organization.
And get rocked by the Dbacks.
Get rocked by the Dbacks. I would be shocked. I don't know. I don't know if I see that happening just because he's so atrocious, but crazier things have happened. Were you, and I know like this is probably a dumb question, so stick with me here, but just hear my explaining for this. Were you surprised by the move? Not by the way that like he's so bad and like it was like an obvious thing to do, but like were you surprised that the Diamondbacks were actually willing to eat that contract and move on now? Yeah,
no, I thought we were going to have to be dealing with it for much longer.
Me too.
And I also didn't expect him to be quite as bad as he was. So, but I didn't think that's because if it was kind of the mindset like if they were going to do this soon, you might as well have just done it in the offseason. Like they were they were going to try a little longer and at least hope, but it never happened, and so it was the right time, but I am definitely surprised. I didn't have any reason to think the franchise would make a move like this early. So no, I was definitely surprised to see it come up on my phone in the morning, but I'm definitely not surprised like, oh, I didn't think he deserved it, because obviously this is the right move.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone then, because when I said like I was surprised by this, people were like, what? And I was like, not that it happened, but just the timing of it, because I feel like the Diamondbacks have been notorious for dragging their feet in the past on some like very obvious to us decisions that it's like, you should not be dragging your feet. Like this is like clear to us. So I was just surprised by the fact that like, they were like, we take ownership over the fact that this probably wasn't a great deal. We are going to stop shooting ourselves in the foot by making him start every 5 days or every 5 games. And we're just going to eat it. And you can enjoy right off into the sunset on your horse with their $34 million that we still owe you. And that's that.
Yeah. And it was a straight DFA. I thought they might play around with kind of the phantom injury thing. We talked about that a little bit with Jesse, but they went straight DFA, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we close out the show, one last question. Who do you want to see replace MadBum in the rotation? Because my answer probably is not the same as your answer.
I want to see Fott get an opportunity up here.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. I think I've seen enough of Tommy Henry. I don't really think he's going to be. I don't think he has a spot here permanently forever. He's been pitching well in Reno from what I've heard, but we've seen him in the pros. I would like to see Fott get an extended opportunity here.
Yeah. See, my gut reaction too is to say Fott, because I think that's just kind of like the natural assumption is like, you know, he's worked his way up. He's done really well in AAA. The Aces just posted, the Aces are on like a tour of like advertising how amazing Brandon Fott has been for them. And that was honestly my first reaction too, was like, just give Fott the ball. But I get a little nervous because I don't want like the confidence to be destroyed early if something were to go wrong. I don't know. I get a little nervous with that stuff.
Eventually.
And like Tommy Henry, like you said, we kind of know what we're going to expect. Like, is he serviceable enough with our like lineup to just
everyone's better than MadBum, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, well, anyone's better than MadBum. I could go out there and pitch fucking 7 innings better than MadBum can. But I don't know. I'm kind of fine with like Tommy Henry being a stopgap.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. And they've talked about it a little bit. And also part of it is like where they are in like their own pitching, like where they are, like who's had the most rest when they need the right pitcher or a pitcher at that time. So part of it is logistic. But I have a lot of confidence in this team and the farm system that any arm you put up there, I think is going to be, you're going to be able to win some games with. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just get a little nervous because I think like these young guys come up with like a lot of like spunk and like confidence. And like, I think I noticed a trend, and I might just be crazy and I just watch too much baseball, but like when rookie starting pitchers come up, I think it goes one of two ways. Like either they get destroyed immediately, or like or like they are really great because like the opposing lineup hasn't figured out their pitching style yet. So like on paper, it seems like they're doing really well until they can kind of get like more research. They know what pitch is coming, like they get used to that pitcher. And then you kind of like start to see their numbers go down, which is what I kind of feel like is happening with Ryan Nelson. I don't know if yesterday was just kind of like an off day, but Ryan Nelson didn't have the best day ever yesterday.
Pitching against one of the most stacked lineups in baseball history. But
true. Also true. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just being overly cautious and everyone's like, shut up, just bring us the Brandon Pfaadt, which is fine. Like if you think that, but I'm also just like a cautious person in general. So I would be fine with using Tommy Henry as a stopgap, but that's just me. Well, that was fun.
That was fun. A lot to talk about today, like you said.
Yeah, we had a great show. I feel like that was awesome.
No, I enjoyed it. I'm just
hyping myself up because I'm so excited.
We got to talk a bunch of D-backs. Again, the last 24 hours have been absolute magic because Madison Bumgarner has not been a part of my favorite team. And the Cardinals have New Jerseys, and the Suns are still in the playoffs. It's a good time to be a Valley sports fan.
B is saying they are fully embracing the youth movement by biting the bullet on the contract. I agree. Give me the baby backs times 1,000. Like inject the baby backs into my veins. Let me just like inhale the essence that is the
all right.
Get us out of here.
Okay, all right.
Get us out of here.
Speaking of the Diamondbacks, though, we are doing takeovers for the Diamondbacks, which means we are going to be going to Chase Field together, watching the game together, pre-gaming together at Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers, and it's happening on April 25th, which is coming up so fast. And you guys have to come out to our first D-backs takeover of the season. It's going to be so much fun. You can get tickets for it by going to our events page on our website, gophnx.com, or head over to @PHNX_Diamondbacks on Twitter to get the link to RSVP. It's going to be so much fun, you guys. Please come out to our takeover. And we're going to be doing 6 of them throughout the entire season. So if you would rather just buy our season pass and have like all 6 tickets taken care of, you can also do that, which is a great deal. Like I mentioned, you can do it on our website. And you should also become a diehard while you're there because we are the best family in Arizona sports and you want to join the family. When you do so, you get discounts on our tickets like you do for the takeover. 36 for diehards, 45 for regular people, boring people. So make sure you sign up to be a diehard and join the family. You get a free shirt when you do so. And it's just worth the money, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're pretty cool.
I think we are very cool.
Who doesn't want to be a part of this family, you know?
I couldn't tell you. Losers and weirdos.
Losers and weirdos. That's what we are. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
No. I was saying losers and weirdos don't want to be a part of the family. I was saying weird losers
that's
and
better.
weirdos.
I mean, I'm kind of a loser, but it's fine. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. You are all the absolute best. We love our TPSP family. Shout out to Charles, Daniel, Bees, Albert, Elizabeth, Chris, everyone else that I might have missed, Connor. You guys are all the best. You know who you are. If you're in the chat right now, you guys are electric. Don't forget, we'll be live again next Friday at 12:30, and we will see you then. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.